the best station rocking the nation. We are GTR, Ghana Talks Radio. GTR News. The news others choose. We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Good day and welcome to the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Sandra Asante. Top stories. E-levy to be implemented in May 2022, Finance Minister hint. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo says 106 factories constructed on the government flagship One District, One Factory initiative. On international front, women and children drowned fleeing Nigeria gang attack. There's some more stories after the break.
Easter Monday, take over Ghana Talks Radio and the Akufo-Addo Coup Party. The Easter Monday Takeover Edition. A bustle, our bedtime hotel on the 18th of April 2022. Artists on the bill. Kontakra. Yeah, Pono. Bambi Yoga. Another level. Danger Ball. Cat King. Mr. G. Kwaku Mickey. Edges Blade. Anna Johnny K. MC King Kwaku Mensa. DJs on the bill. DJ Chan. And a DJ Bobby Rich. After party no Air Bustle. Right at Casa Bar and Grill. Opposite the Bedtime Hotel. Rate 30 cool Ghana cedis. Nelson Ubetimiato ticket for 2 at 50 Ghana cedis from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Activities at Bekoso Pool Party Nase. A dance competition. Giveaways. Raffle draw. And a photography. We'll pay tickets. And answer reservations are fresh. 0202 544 614. Tickets are available.
Our Bright FM, Eastern FM, Freedom FM, Sunrise FM, Front Decks, and the Bedtime Hotel. Ubenya Binsuo.
Tickets.GhanaTalksRadio.com. Ubeti the Momo and as a credit card. Atto. Sponsor BP Superfine Bakery. Tom's Metal Corporation. And a GTR Sound. Easter Monday way. The whole Ghana Air Party. Our Akufo-Addo Pool Party. The Easter Monday Takeover.
This is Ghana Talks Radio, the best station rocking the nation.
Yeah, welcome back from the break to first story. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has called on all and sundry to throw their weight behind the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources in the fight against illegalities in the natural resources sector, particularly the fight against illegal mining, and also support the Green Ghana project. Addressing citizens during his 2022 State of the Nation address SONA on March 30th, 2022, the president stressed that if ever the support of all citizens was required to make something work, it is in the battle to end illegal mining and restore our land and water bodies back to health. The president said, in the light of this fight, the government has, through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, declared river bodies and forest reserves as red zones for mining. He stated that the government has also suspended the issuance of all prospect and exploration licenses for minerals in forest reserves and launched Operation Halt 2 to help rid water bodies and forest reserves of illegal miners. The president, on behalf of the nation, extended his condolences to the bereaved families of the victims of the Apiate explosion while commending the public for their massive response to the disaster.
And restore our lands and water bodies back to health. We have declared river bodies and forest reserves as red zones for mining. We suspended the issuance of all prospecting, exploration, and reconnaissance licenses.
This is Ghana Talks Radio, the best station rocking the nation.
To help rid our water bodies and forest reserves of illegal miners. Revamp the community mining scheme as a more sustainable and greener safeguards to replace illegal mining. What we need above all is the buy-in of all citizens to recognize that the degradation caused to the lands and water bodies by the illegal mining practices affect each one of us, and which all should take an interest to stop those involved. Let me use this platform to extend again the condolences of the nation to the victims of the Apiate explosion. The response to the disaster by the public and the organs of state was highly commendable. responded swiftly in the immediate aftermath of the incident by dispatching a high-powered delegation under the leadership of the Vice President to Apiachi. An Apiachi Support Fund has been established to spearhead the building of a decent, green, and sustainable community to enable victims of this tragic incident and members of the community get back on their feet and rebuild their lives. As rising out of this incident, government will ensure that the health and safety policies of the mining industry
GTR News. The news others choose.
To the next story, an Adenta Circuit Court has sentenced a 20-year-old community police CPA to 4 years imprisonment over charges of impersonation and defrauding by false pretenses. Mark Appel is said to have collected 12,000 cedis from a finance officer to enlist the officer's sister into the Ghana Police Service but failed to do so. Appel pleaded guilty to both charges. The court, presided over by Mrs. Sedinam Awo Baloka, convicted Appel on his own plea. Prosecuting Chief Inspector Maxwell Lanyo said the complainant, name withheld, was a finance officer of a hospital in Tamale, whilst the convict was stationed at Wale Wale. He said the complainant got to know Appel when he brought a patient to the hospital in 2016. The prosecution said Appel introduced himself to the complainant as police officer and they became friends. In November 2021, the complainant called Appel and informed him that she has secured a job for her sister with the ambulance service. The prosecution said the convict questioned the complainant as to why she did not enlist her sister into the Ghana Police Service. Appel then assured the complainant that he could assist her sister enlisted in the police service. He then gave the number of a Nelson, a supposed senior officer, to call him so he could assist him with the enlistment. He cunningly demanded and collected various sums of money from the complainant from December 2021 to March 18th, 2022, all totaling 12,000 cedis. The prosecution said on March 18th, one General Sergeant Aglago received a call from the complainant that she had arrived for the enlistment in Accra. Police intelligence led to the arrest of Appel, and during interrogation, he admitted the offense and pleaded for leniency. Still on local stories, President Akufo-Addo has stated that medical records are being digitalized through government digitalization agenda to ensure effective delivery of healthcare in the country. He says the exercise will cover all health facilities as part of plans to enhance their operations and make them more competitive. President Akufo-Addo made this known when he delivered the State of Nations Address SONA on Wednesday, March 30th, 2022 in Parliament.
Every child born in this country will be registered, and the date of birth registered will remain your date of birth throughout your life.
GTR News.
There will be no school age, no football age, no SNIT age, and no official age. When we register for National Health Insurance, the details of our identification will be the same as the details on a driving license, a passport, and yes, on our tax identification number. Today, we all have addresses at which we can be identified, even if we live, unfortunately, for the time being in a chaos. And when we die, that inevitable rite of passage will be recorded to mark the end of our life. Mr. Speaker, it is not enough that the state collects all this information. It is critical that every citizen is able to benefit from the digitization process. The benefits range from being able to give directions to our addresses for delivery,
GTR
being able to gain access to government services without having to go to the ministries. The Rural Telephony Project, being undertaken by GIFEC, is working to fill the void created by the telephone operators' inability or unwillingness to extend their services to areas they deem uneconomical to operate. It is important to extend basic telephone
GTR News. The news others choose.
President Nana Akufo-Addo has said coups are not the solution to Ghana's economic and governance challenges. The president responded to the coup fears for the first time while delivering his SONA to Parliament. He said no matter the differences in opinions in how Ghana should be run, coups cannot be an option. He also commended the DC and MPP for their roles played in the coup-related issues.
That have featured in recent public discussions. Certain elements have attempted to advocate coup d'etats as the answer to the problems of the nation. We came through a long and tortuous journey to arrive at today's consensus on a multi-party democracy. But the last 29 years of our Fourth Republic have shown that this has been the most productive period since our independence. Both the major political parties of the country, the New Patriotic Party, MPP, and the National Democratic Congress, NDC, have made positive contributions to this development. There's work to be done on building our institutions, but our democracy is worth fighting for. It is up to us to find a way to accommodate each other and our differences to make things work for the benefit of the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, it might also be well that coup d'etats have re-entered our discourse because of the turmoil in our neighborhood. The West African region is suddenly back in the international news headlines for all the wrong reasons. We're back again as the region of political instability and the place for coups. Long and bitter experience led ECOWAS to its current stance of zero intolerance for military coups. We in Ghana know the cost of instability. It leads to the exodus of our artisans and professionals and the emptying of teachers from our schools. Speaker, today, at every traffic light junction in our big towns and cities, you can see the results of instability in our neighborhood with the influx of refugees into our country. We should be unapologetic about campaigning for stable democratic
GTR News. The news others choose.
To business stories, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has hinted that the implementation of the electronic transaction levy may commence in May 2022. According to him, the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA) will have all the systems in place for the operationalization of the levy by then. This revelation follows the passing of the E-levy bill by Parliament on Tuesday. The bill was passed after deliberations at the consideration stage was concluded by a majority-sided House on Tuesday, March 29, 2022. The bill, which was considered under certification of urgency, proposed to reduce the rate of 1.5% from the initial 1.75 amid the minority walkout. President Akufo-Addo is expected to settle the bill for it to become a law. However, the minority caucus contend that Parliament did not have the required number of at least half of its members present when the controversial tax policy was approved. They therefore sought the following leave in their suit against the Attorney General. Reacting to this, Mr. Ofori-Atta stated that, "I think we registered the moment in our history when things came together and we shall move forward and conquer." He added that he does not see anything dramatic about the NDC going to court to have their issue addressed.
Of that nature happen, things change. And so it's not an issue of blaming. You had COVID and now you had the Ukrainian war. Who would have thought about it? Fuel, food, and financing have become a problem.
GTR News. GTR News.
Three dangerous F's. Fuel, food, and financing. We can destabilize any society. But there's nothing that we can't overcome if we work together as a people. And that's where we are. And I think yesterday registered a moment in our history where things came together, and we shall move forward and conquer. Nothing, I mean, that's democracy. You know, somebody has an issue, they go to court, you resolve it, you move on. I don't think there's anything dramatic about that, We believe there was a quorum in the House. You're walking out does not mean that there's no quorum. You could have gone for lunch and come back. Who knows? So we are really pleased that things went well. And I think the nation is settled. There's a certain spirit of calmness and yabre. Yeah, it's a key question. We had some meetings of the Controller General and the NGRA, and they have indicated to us that right at the beginning of May, they should be able to get the systems all together.
GTR News. The news others choose.
Still on the E-levy, President Akufo-Addo says the electronic transaction levy would make a significant contribution to revenue mobilization and the management of the national economy. However, delivering the State of the Nation address SONA on Wednesday, President Akufo-Addo, who thanked Parliament for the passage of the bill, noted that the country was in a difficult place and needed a revenue to develop.
By the protracted and sometimes acrimonious nature of proceedings, I'm happy that the House has finally found it possible to pass the E-levy bill. I believe strongly the levy is going to make a significant contribution to revenue mobilization and the management of the national economy. And I want to thank members of the House for making this possible. Mr. Speaker, to overcome, to get back to where we ought to be, I need your support. No president, no parliament, no government can undertake this task all by themselves. We need all Ghanaians to pull and push together. The road to recovery will be long and hard, but we have started on a good footing by accepting that we are in a difficult place and are taking the difficult decisions that will get us out. If anyone had ever had any doubts about the need for self-reliance, the point has now been forcibly drilled home to us.
GTR News. The news others choose.
Still in business stories, President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo says 106 factories constructed under the government's flagship One District, One Factory initiative are operational within various districts of the country. The 106 factories represented 38% of 278 projects that are at various stages of the implementation in all 16 regions as of March this year. In the State of the Nation address, the President indicated that 148 of the factories were under construction, while 24 projects were at the mobilization stage.
Through the 1D1F initiative, the Made in Ghana label is being stamped on a wide range of products proudly manufactured in Ghana. Out of a total of 278 1D1F projects at various stages of implementation in all the 16 regions, 106 factories are currently operational. 148 are under construction, while 24 projects are at mobilization stage.
The news others choose.
If you just join us, this is the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio. On the international front, Russian President Vladimir Putin is being misled by advisors who are too scared to tell him how badly the war in Ukraine is going, the White House says. Meanwhile, British intelligence says Russian troops in Ukraine are demoralized, short of equipment, are refusing to carry out orders. Mr. Putin is also not being told about the full impact of sanctions on the Russian economy, the White House stated. The Kremlin has not yet commented on the assessment. White House spokesperson Kate Bedingfield said the U.S. had information that Mr. Putin felt misled by the Russian military, and this had resulted in persistent tension between Putin and his military leadership. Putin's war has been a strategic blunder that has left Russia weaker over the long term and increasingly isolated on the world stage, she said. A Belgian court is holding a closed-door trial for Australian journalist and former TV anchor Cheng Lei in a high-profile diplomatic case. Ms. Chen is accused of illegally supplying state secrets overseas. Her family maintains she is innocent. The Chinese-born Australian was working for Chinese state media outlet CGTN prior to her detention in August 2020. Karabara has repeatedly raised concerns over her detention and has called for basic standards of justice to be met. Little is known about the exact nature of Ms. Chen's alleged offences, and it's not clear when a verdict will be handed down. Speaking to reporters outside of the courtroom on Thursday, Australia's ambassador to China, Graham Fletcher, said he and other Australian officials had been denied entry into the hearing. Chinese court often bars outsiders from trials deemed particularly sensitive. We move to Nigeria, and more than a dozen people, including women and children, fleeing attacks by armed gangs have drawn in the central Nigerian state of Niger when their boat capsized. Emergency officials says 8 bodies, including those of 2 women and 6 children, had been recovered, while 5 people are still missing. A search and rescue operation is underway, but the victims from the village of Galkogo were fleeing a deadly attack by gunmen on their community on Tuesday. Their boat then capsized on the Medja River. Some managed to escape, but many drowned. Officials says the boat was weak and overloaded. We are in Tunisia, and Tunisian President Kais Saied has dissolved parliament, which he suspended 8 months ago following mass protest. It came after MPs convened online on Wednesday and voted to repeal presidential decrees that had given him near total power last year. He said parliament has lost its illegitimacy and had betrayed the nation, and the MPs responsible will be prosecuted. Mr. Saied suspended parliament, assumed executive powers, and moved to rewrite the constitution 8 months ago. He has since ruled by decree. Since then, anger at economic situations in Tunisia has sparked street protests, some involving clashes with the police. To some entertainment story, Will Smith was asked to leave the Oscar ceremony after hitting Chris Rock but refused, the Academy says. The event organizing body also said it had initiated disciplinary proceedings against Smith. Smith slapped Rock after a comic joke about wife Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head as a result of the hair loss condition alopecia. The actor, who won the first Oscar of his career at the ceremony, has since apologized, but in a statement, the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Science said Mr. Smith was asked to leave the ceremony and refused, but we also recognize we could have handled the situation differently. It also announced it has initiated disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Smith for violations of the Academy's standards of conduct. This includes inappropriate physical contact, abusive or threatening behavior, and compromising the integrity of the Academy, it says. The Academy said action may be taking place at the next board meeting on April 18th. That may include suspension, expulsion, or other sanctions, the statement added. It also apologized directly to Chris Rock as well as nominees, guests, and viewers. This is where I end the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio. Thank you so much for tuning to it. You can log on to our website, www.ghanatalksradio.com, for more news update. My name is Sandra Asante. Stay tuned for the sport today.
GTR News.